It's time for the second chance bracket. On the bracket we
Wait,
filled
wait,
out.
wait, wait, wait. Hold up. When did you get the Brotherhood jersey?
Oh, I got this last year.
Oh man,
Let's go. Yeah, man.
is that Caleb Foster?
It's just generic. It's number one, but it's
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, when did you get that one? I want the black one, bro. Like, I want the black one.
That would be sick.
Like, I really want the black
I
one.
couldn't pass this one up though. This one's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got it last year, and also got a TCU jersey last year too. So,
Oh, nice.
but this one's actually stitched. So
Ooh, how much
yeah.
was that?
Anyway, let's move on. Uh, disclose that information.
Oh yeah, because
Um,
your mom's watching. I forgot.
well, let's hope not. Let's go people on here. Anyway, we didn't do too terribly bad on the bracket we had. We had New Mexico in our Final Four. I was bummed they lost.
Yeah,
Um,
I was too. Like, but it's gonna be really awesome to see son and dad coach against each other next year in the Big East. Like, that's gonna be
yeah,
fun, man.
yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
News breaking yesterday that Richard Pitino will be taking over Xavier. So
Yep.
that's cool. Um, anyway, let's go ahead and do a second chance here. And hopefully we can win some cash off of this. Probably not, but we start off with Auburn, Michigan. I was really hoping Creighton was going to upset Auburn. It didn't happen. Um,
Michigan, I think, could because Michigan's got two 7-footers that can really slow down Janai Broom on the offensive side. But it really depends on if Golden and um,
you got Vladislav Golden and Danny Wolf down low.
yeah,
Like
if they can slow Broom down, Michigan has a 100% opportunity in this game.
I'm hoping so.
And
And
I
even
think,
some of
and
the guards.
this is really the first matchup this season that Auburn's had besides Duke, to where they've had two bigs to go up against Broom. So
Yeah,
it's going to be fun to watch for
I
sure.
think for Michigan, the thing they're going to need is to try to get Auburn into foul trouble.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
good luck with that.
It like Auburn is a very good defensive, like disciplined team. Like
Yeah.
Bruce Pearl has always been a very good disciplined coach. Um, however, I mean, this is a toss-up game. It really is because Michigan's playing so good in the tournament, and
They have.
then
I
Auburn has
thought they'd be
been
first
like,
round upset.
yeah, and Auburn been like, just kind of float by the hair of the chin. It's like, just in that game.
You would
Uh,
have picking up.
but in my one bracket that I filled out before this, I did pick Michigan over Auburn.
You want to do it again?
So part of me wants to, but part of me is like, no, Auburn's going to win at least this round, but they're going to get beat in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
I have a feeling Auburn this year is going to be a lot like Duke in 2018-19 with Zion Williamson, to where they get to the Elite Eight and then they lose.
Well, the thing with that, Duke almost lost all their games leading up to that.
They really did, and so did Auburn.
The first round games. But,
So it's very similar comparisons
all right, we'll go
because
Auburn.
Janai Broom is kind of like a Zion. It's just more slender and not as chubby and punky. But
He doesn't move like Zion
yeah,
did.
no, he doesn't move either like Zion. But what I'm saying is kind of how the teams are built, and stuff as far as the way they play and things are very similar.
Okay. Ole Miss, Michigan State. Well, Mississippi looked pretty good last week.
I have old, I have
They
Padula pulling off the upset against Sparty.
and we get an SEC mashup in the Elite Eight. I like it.
I
Florida,
do have
Maryland.
Padula in the Rebels.
Florida, Maryland. Maryland got so lucky, dude. My goodness, I was hoping Colorado State was
They
gonna win.
traveled, bro. If you go back in and watch, if you watch that
Uh,
video, Queen traveled. He
I
took three
know.
steps, bro. Three
Yeah,
steps.
yeah, I
Three
know.
steps. Like I was so freaking pissed for Colorado State. Like I was like, come on, go to
They
the
had
freaking
it, man.
monitor.
They hit that three. Like, yeah, they did it. They're gonna do it. And no, no, no. They
Like,
got cheated out of that one.
yeah, yeah. He said he was from Baltimore, playing too much street ball and able to travel too much.
Playing football.
um, yeah, but that basket should not have counted at all. Like Colorado State got robbed. The refs missed it. Like I will blatantly say that to this day. Um, and that is one game that I will actually say to where the refs actually screwed over an opponent. Um, but in this matchup, Florida versus Maryland, Florida, dude, I
I
thought for sure Gonzaga had a beat, and then Walter Clayton, like I texted
know
you, and I'm like, I was like,
UConn.
he hadn't shown up all game, and then all of a sudden he just
No,
started dropping bucket after bucket after
it was
bucket,
it
and
was
I was
you
like, what the crap?
it was UConn, not
Or
Gonzaga.
UConn, yeah, sorry, UConn.
But
I thought
yeah,
UConn though. I thought UConn had him,
they
and then he
did.
just starts dropping bucket after bucket. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was there, and they showed Bill Murray on the jumbotron, and he got everyone pumped up and going. And Clayton, Walter Clayton stepped up, and that was about it.
Florida's tough, dude, and that's the reason I have them beat Maryland.
Well, it's not just him either. I mean, Elijah Martin had a pretty good game too. And if Clayton's not having a good game, usually Elijah Martin can step up.
And they're big. The thing about Florida is they're big.
Yeah.
They're big is a lot like Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga when he played. Chet could shoot the three, but he could also play down low. And so that's one piece that Florida is a little bit more versatile at is they have a guy that can bounce both to the perimeter and inside as far as their big man.
Condon doesn't usually shoot threes though.
He doesn't usually, but he can. He can. That's the difference. Is he usually doesn't, but he definitely can shoot from that range. Because I watched some of his games earlier in the year where he shot a couple, and I was like, okay, yeah, dude's got a nice stroke from the arc.
Texas Tech, Arkansas. I know who I like in this one. And I'm gonna say it. Suey Pig.
I'm gonna go Calipari, baby,
Yeah,
Calipari.
man. We had talked about that. I don't know if we talked about it
Dude,
on
no, I caught it in the
screen.
first video. I caught it in the first video. I was like, watch, Calipari gonna leave Kentucky and go to Arkansas and go all the way to the Final Four.
I know
I
we
called
joked
it
that that
before it
would be the
happened.
one SEC team to go to the Final Four, be Arkansas.
Yeah,
I hope so. I really do.
I did call that on video. Like, if y'all go back in and watch our original pick video, you will see me stating that. If not in the video, I know I definitely said it to you on a phone call.
I we've talked about it off screen. Is that it would be funny if that was the only SEC team that goes to
Yeah,
the Final.
I think it was. I think it was the day before we made our video that I said that.
Yeah.
But
Um,
that was just nuts. And then
it was,
here they are just cruising on by. Like,
I'm hoping so. Hey, his daughter's pretty
and
attractive.
what's crazy about him is they absolutely had a terrible SEC regular season.
They lost to South Carolina. I thought that was it. They're not getting in. They got blown out by South Carolina. Like that, they're not getting in the tournament at this point. But here they are. They knocked off St. John's. They keep going. And let's hope they do too, because they keep showing Calipari's daughter. She's pretty attractive.
And not to mention, the guy who is point guard for Arkansas was on FAU's team in 2023 who made it to the
John L.
Final
Davis.
Four.
John L. Davis. Yep.
Yep. And so he's got experience and he knows what it takes to get there.
Yep. All right. I know who we're going with in the Duke Arizona game.
Yeah, Duke. That way we can see crybaby, what's his face, Caleb Love go bye bye bye.
Ugh. Don't like Caleb Love.
Hey, now we get rid of Caleb Love and RJ Davis this year. I'm happy. I'm happy.
RJ Davis. BYU, Alabama. I like BYU here.
Oh, dude.
This is going to be a tough
This
game, but I do like BYU.
this is
Um,
going to end up a lot like the Alabama Maryland women's game. This is going to be an offensive slugfest. Um, I'm going to go. Can I make a score prediction on this game? Actually,
Go for it.
96-93.
Think it's going to be that high?
I think it's going to be that high.
Hmm.
Um, so with that being said, Alabama's one of those teams to where if they shoot and make it, they're hard to beat. If they are on off night, then that's the way Alabama's built. Is either they shoot really well or they just have an off night. There's no in between with them. Um, and even on an off night, they're still putting up 70, which is stupid. Um, man,
It's tough. It really is. Like BYU had a big lead on Wisconsin and nearly lost it.
well, the other part of
Oh.
this that I saw a stat the other day is Calipari left Kentucky for Arkansas. Pope left BYU for Kentucky. And then the other coach stepped up and replaced Pope at BYU, and they're all in the Sweet 16 this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna go Alabama here just simply because I do think Sears gives them a little bit of an edge at point guard position. But as far as everywhere else, BYU does match up pretty good with Bama. Um, and also Grant Nelson, I have noticed he hasn't been 100% healthy. He didn't play like he has been the rest of the season. So I think there's still a little bit of concern there with the injury, but it could be going away over time. But there's just something off about him right now.
Well, and I mentioned it with Auburn. Alabama has to stay out of foul trouble. That's the key here. They get into foul trouble, it's going to be tough.
But dude, Diabate, that dude's nasty, man. Like
I'm,
he could shoot, he could dribble drive, he could like dude is a playmaker.
I guess we're going to Alabama. BYU wins. Hey, we will have to drive down to New Jersey for the Elite Eight game if it's Duke, Alabama. Drop $400 on it. Houston, Purdue. Now, Purdue, I think it has something for Houston here. I think they have something for them.
You know how like the other day I was sitting there talking about how this Gonzaga team and everything, like usually when Gonzaga is seated lower and everything, they usually do pretty good. Well, this Purdue team is one of those that's a weird. It's weird because in the regular season they didn't look all that impressive, but for some reason, like I watched their game, the first round game, and then I watched their second round game, and they look like a solid bunch of people.
Yeah,
Uh,
they have a lot of experience, though.
they have a lot of experience, but they're streaky, but they're getting hot at the right time. And that's what I told you in the very first video that we made was it's important if a team can get hot. And I think they have what it takes. And I actually did pick Purdue in my one-off bracket that I filled out. And I think I'm going to go with them again. I think I'm going to go the Boilermakers.
All right. And then we have a rivalry matchup here, Kentucky and Tennessee. Woo.
Dude, if people here in Knoxville are going to shoot me when I say this, but Kentucky upsets Tennessee to go to the Elite Eight.
Well, and it would be crazy if you had Tennessee and Purdue in the Elite Eight for the second year in a row.
No, Kentucky. Kentucky has that it factor right now.
Yeah, I forgot who they played last round, but it wasn't even
But
close.
here's the other question I want to ask real quick. If Tennessee does get beat, and Alabama advances to the Elite Eight this year, at what point do you consider letting Rick Barnes go?
I think he'll retire there, honestly.
But he can't win the big. Like he can get only to the Elite Eight, maybe, but he can't get past that. Like it's like Elite Eight, and that's it. So like, when do you bring in a coach that can get you further than that?
I think he's old enough. I think he's just going to retire there. I really do.
I mean, he could be, but I just know Tennessee, the way their athletics are right now. Like baseball is doing really well, softball's good, football is finally on the rise. Like why would you stick with a guy that's kind of like holding your athletics back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying.
But I
Um,
do have Kentucky winning that game.
yeah, I feel good about Kentucky too.
And here's why: is because yes, Pope was a former player and everything, but to get that big win over a big rival in a big tournament like this would be a huge momentum boost for his coaching career.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're up to Elite Eight. Auburn, Ole Miss
I'm going Mississippi rematch
to get them to the Final Four.
to
Yeah,
get him to the Final Four. Oh,
that'd be
Mississippi!
that'd be insane, dude. If Chris Beard actually got them into the Final Four.
Hey, he's a good coach, dude. He is a really good coach.
Yep. All right. Florida, Arkansas. Are we gonna do it? I don't know if we're gonna do it.
I would love to go Arkansas, but dude,
Oh,
they have been so good. But I've got to go Florida here. Florida is in my national championship.
do we really
Uh,
think three SEC teams are gonna be in the Final Four though?
I do, dude. Like I really do.
I don't know about that.
Like it's going to be
I don't
the
know if we're
SEC.
going. I don't know if we'll go Kentucky over Purdue, but
I don't know, but I do think Ole
we
Miss and
might
Florida are the two that make it.
we might be sleeping on one of those Michigan teams. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously we're going Duke over Alabama. Enough said there. Purdue, Kentucky's definitely interesting. Let me preview this real quick.
Should be
Um,
a pretty even matchup.
yeah, it's not. Kentucky
Purdue's a,
definitely. Huh? What were you gonna say?
Purdue's a little bit better.
Yeah, well, at least defensively, from what it looks like here. Um, yeah, it's a little bit. It's pretty even there.
Let's
So
go. I'm going to go Boilermakers.
that game's gonna come down to who can get hot. If Kobe Bryant starts shooting really good, they might be in trouble. But Kentucky also has been a little bit streaky this year too, so it's,
They have been.
at times, yeah. But you know what? Duke Kentucky rematch in the Final Four would be fun.
That way we can have Christian Leitner there, have all the Kentucky people there. It would be a fun little time in San Antonio.
Are we
Bring
going for
back
Duke Kentucky?
bring back the good memories.
For that was what, like 9 years before we were born?
Hey, I mean, listen, it may be 9 years before we were born, but it doesn't mean we haven't watched the recaps of it.
Oh no, we definitely I've watched that full game.
I have too.
Um,
Yes, it should have been a flagrant on Christian Leitner.
well, it is fun. I was watching. I was watching after the Duke Carolina game back in March or beginning of March. There's a documentary on that team, 91, 92 team. and Leitner was saying, I forgot who it was in Kentucky. They shoved him out of bounds, and so a couple plays later, when that happened, when he stepped on the guy, he thought that's who shoved him out of bounds, but it wasn't the same player. But he stepped on his chest anyway because he thought it was the guy who shoved him out, even though
That's
it wasn't the same
crazy.
guy. Yeah, he just let his frustration kind of get the better of him there. But yeah, thankfully he didn't get ejected.
Yeah, thankfully.
Otherwise, it would not have been a repeat. Um, okay, so are we going Purdue, Kentucky?
I really want the Kentucky Duke matchup.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Florida, Ole Miss.
I'm
Woo.
going Florida.
I guess we're gonna do Duke and Florida again.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Duke winning it all.
And total points for the championship game will do 168.
No.
Lower?
I think it's gonna be 140, like 147.
Ooh, that's really low. Okay, that's really low.
That's like 70, 70, 30, like 70, 60 something.
I guess. Eh,
I don't
okay.
think it's going to be high scoring like you think it is because if you get Condon versus Malawatch and Gumba, like that's going to be a very defensive, low scoring, especially if you get Proctor really working the shot clock and stuff.
Uh, there's
Which,
just
speaking of, he has surprised me in this tournament. Like
dude,
he has
Proctor went
caught
off.
fire. Like he has caught fire, and I'm like, dude, you couldn't have picked a better time to start shooting the freaking basketball.
He went off against Baylor. How many threes did he have in a row?
Like
Like
he had at
six?
least four. I
Like
one thing I
six.
do love, I love how Roach freaking did flag. He like got around him and then he just love
That
tapped
was
him and like tapped him on the chest, and I was like, that's hilarious, bro.
that was sick. How he just put him in the spin cycle.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick, dude.
I was like, and then Flag just looks at him like, what was that for? Like
He's showing his experience there. Like, don't forget where I came from.
everybody's like, well, he hooked. And I was like, no, he didn't. I said he just
He
used
just
his arms to keep him behind him.
yeah, that was a sweet move, honestly.
Yeah. I was like, dang, Roach. I said, now I kind of wish you were still on this team.
Isn't it fitting though for a guy who played at Duke 4 years? His final game was a loss to Duke. I feel bad for the guy. I grew up as a
I
Bear.
bet his mom is sitting there like, you stupid idiot. Why didn't
Well,
you stay?
no. It wasn't his fault. I'm sure he was told he wasn't really gonna have a lot of playing time here for his final year. Just with everyone coming in, I think he was told that he was going to need to transfer.
Yeah.
He wanted to stay, but it's just there wasn't really going to be a place for him.
Well, that's the thing though, is it may not have been in place for him, but look at like Jalen Hurts and the whole Tua situation, right? Jalen had his opportunity when it came down to it. He had a he had a place, and it came time for him to be in that position. And I think with Roach, even if he would have stayed, just coming in off the bench for like maybe like 10 minutes a game or something, like would have been very pivotal and everything. To where if honestly, if he would have been on the team, I don't think we would have had three losses this year. I really don't. Because he could have come in because he's great defensively. And you got to think, who would he replace right now if we had him on the team? He would replace Malik Brown defensively.
That's not even the same thing, though.
It's not, but he does provide more of an edge defensively than what I think Foster and James and them do.
I don't know. It's
And I'm speaking not necessarily that based on skill, but more so on experience.
yeah. Well, Sion has plenty of experience.
Yeah, he
Maybe.
came from Tulane, which I was surprised how he came from Tulane over to Duke and like was able to transition pretty well.
Yeah, they all have really, and it's honestly pretty remarkable.
Yeah, like I did not expect him
Oh,
to come out of the American and be ready to play ACC ball that quick, but
well, he played Houston every year, so
that's true.
he's kind of used to it a little bit.
I tell
Uh,
you one kid that I would love, 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 love to see him pop off for like a 15, 20 point game is Foster.
yeah, man. I think what Shire's doing is, kind of having him take a step back right now and kind of learn what's going on, and he's going to have a
Which
big
I
role
think he's going to
here. If he
come
comes
back
back.
next year. He's going to
He'll have
come
a
back
big
next
role,
year.
and senior year, this is going to be his team.
Like he's going to be a force to reckon with next year.
I mean, you see when he comes into the games, he'll drive right down the lane and he'll make a layup.
Yeah,
It's like, where has this been? But I think that's what Shire's doing is just, take a step back this year and you'll have a bigger role next year if you come back. And senior year, this is going to be your team.
yeah. Which next year's recruiting class is looking good too.
We got those Boozer boys coming in. I'm excited.
So I'm like,
And we'll have Malik back senior year.
my question is could we do a little UConn?
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going there yet, but we'll see.
When's like okay, I don't want to go there, but at the same time, when is the last time that happened? Wouldn't it have to go all the way back to like UCLA days with Wooden
What?
that two teams like won back to back national championships consecutively?
Effectively. Yeah, I don't know.
Like that would have to go back to like the Wooden era.
I'm sure. I'm sure it would.
Like dang. Because I know Florida did it, but then nobody did it after
Oh,
Florida.
yeah, because after Florida, it was Kansas, and we're not going to talk about 2009, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No.
um, yeah, because there wasn't a repeat after that. And before Florida, 91, 92 was Duke, but it wasn't a repeat after that. We're not going to talk about 93. Didn't Arkansas win in 94?
I think Arkansas did win in '94.
Yeah, so that definitely wasn't a repeat. That would be pretty cool, but let's not go there yet. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let's get through this year first.
yes. I think we're even still getting ahead of ourselves, but well,
But all right, man. Well, I'm home, so I gotta get the food and stuff in here for everybody.
all right, dude.
All
Well,
right, man.
I'm watching the games tonight, and
Yep.
we will probably get on here before the Final Four. So,
So,
all
all
right.
right. See
See you
you.
guys later. Bye bye.